Exomologiste tokirio te agathos alleluia.
Otis ton neona to eleos aftu alleluia.
For example, let's look at an African country, Nigeria, right? Boko Haram is currently prosecuting the Christians in Nigeria, over 50,000 killed. An open door study has said 30,000 this year. It's one of the most heavily prosecuted areas for Christians at the behest of Islamic fundamentalism. And that's from a broad understanding that a kuffar, the disbeliever, should be killed for the sake of their opinions.
Let me speak and finish my idea. Okay, we have the age of consent. The age when we call adult now in Britain is 18, but never been 18 always. Before it used to be 16. Even recently now, there are some social services that are saying the age of consent should be 21. So the age of consent depends on how conscious the community are, keep changing. Okay, if during Aisha time, during Muhammad time,
that's not true.
The age of conscience of adulthood was 9. Even in Islam, let me finish. Every time, any community, what we call children is not the same anytime. We have, there are professionals who assess it. So now we have 18, maybe you can change it to 21. If we can see that, if we can, let me finish, if we think that 18 is not conscious enough. So if during that age, the age of 9 was a conscious, then why not? Can be married, and marriage doesn't mean intercourse. It could be intercourse another time. Look,
that's consummation.
Even according to Islam, even many Christianity, puberty is the date a woman, where a woman, we call her a woman, is during her puberty. Puberty means there are some signs a woman to become a woman, a girl to move to a woman. So there are those things. So
yes,
those are cultural. Those
you
are.
Understand that, like, you can't argue that a religion's understanding of morals is contingent upon the society that it lived in, because they're assuming that this is given to them by God. So it's not. So you're trying to argue, look, within different times in different countries, the age of consummation and marriage is always going to be different within their understanding of what is a developed human being. However, when God is giving you this, it's not contingent upon the lack of understanding or ignorance of the time, but rather the fullest knowledge which God possesses. God is, of course, all-knowing. So these people believe within the 7th century within Arabia, God, who is all-knowing, knows all things throughout time, is ordaining Muhammad to mount a 9-year-old. In which case, I think it's absolutely horrific. If you look at hadith narrations, it talks about instances of where if a woman is refused or refuses herself with a man within a marriage, which is talking about sex, she is a curse. So there it's talking about raping your wife because she has not given consent within a marriage, because apparently the marriage itself is enough consent to engage in sex. So my underlying view of this is that if we look at marriage, it's very obviously not compatible with the Western notion of marriage. If you want to go further, Islam itself in its understanding of Sharia believes that the West would be better if it changed itself. And that's my absolutely pinpoint thing when it comes to this discussion. Islam believes if there is a majority of Muslims within a country, it has to change the laws, because the laws that they have are better than the ones that we have in the West, which is a problem I have. The fact is that they believe that they're better.
Look, before the thing you say about medieval time, that's we hear it in history, but now we know in the world there are more than 1 billion Muslim, more than 1 billion, more like 1 out of 7 are Muslim, and in many countries they live in peace. We go holiday to Morocco, we go holiday to Egypt, we live peacefully, we come back peacefully.
Egypt? What about the Coptic Christians?
Yes, but majority, 90%.
The Coptic
Egypt
Christians have had a... Okay, why is that?
In Egypt are Muslim.
Why is that?
So it is not Islam the problem.
Why is
problem
Egypt a majority Muslim?
People.
Why do you think Egypt is a majority Muslim country? You understand that Egypt used to be the house of, like, the Coptic Christians?
Look, the world have millions of years. This earth.
No, why is Egypt a majority Muslim country?
Then it changed. Even before Islam, there was Jewish in Alexandria.
No,
Alexandria
why is
the most
Egypt
Jewish
majority
country
Muslim
before
now?
Christianity, before Islam.
Okay,
but later,
why is Egypt a
Jewish
majority
went,
Muslim country?
Judaism gone, Christianity came, then Islam
That's
came.
not how it happened.
And
How
in
did
the
it? How did
future
that
now,
transition come?
You can see a lot of Hindus are coming everywhere in numbers.
You think
so? Maybe many people they now practice yoga. in the future, the majority in the West, the majority.
So you believe
would be
that
Hinduism.
the transition between Christianity and Islam is of the importation of Hinduism across the globe? You understand that the Christians, the hierarchy within the Christian church, essentially sold out Egypt for Muslims, which prosecuted the Oriental Christians. I think there were 7 dialects of Coptic. Now there's only 2 dialects of Coptic because the rest are now extinct. The Oriental Church is one of the smallest denominations of Orthodox Christianity, and that is from Islamic persecution. And the only reason now that they receive numbers is because, unlike Islam, their form of Christianity is spread through the form of the lifetime of the saints. The fact is that for some people it is attractive that someone stays steadfast in their faith whilst also being persecuted by the Muslims. Now, you still haven't answered my question. Why is Egypt, which once used to be a powerhouse of Christianity, now a majority-led run country? It's because of the fact that it had spread via the sword and via bloodshed. That is why the Oriental Christians are extinct, and that is why I believe, again, the West should not import Muslims on high. And even then, like, you understand these countries don't even work with each other, even though they ordain the same religion and God. I mean, why do you think Egyptians weren't taking in Palestinian refugees?
I am Christian, I am Coptic, I go to Coptic churches. I know the Coptic Christianity is old in Egypt, but look, no sword can stop people from their faith at all. Even in Europe, in Roman time, a lot of Christians, they died for their faith and they changed the Roman Empire, which was pagan, to Christianity. So mainly is the people's choice. The people in Egypt, they choose to be Muslim, and the Islam came. That's the majority, that's the reality. The main thing is how people believe, where do they turn to, that's the thing. Finally, what I'm saying, we have not, especially the Abrahamic religions, Islam, Christianity.
What does it mean to have an Abrahamic religion?
I mean, they have their narration, the book are very close to each other.
No, no.
The life is the same.
You believe that as a
Very
Christian?
close. Yes, I'm Christian.
So you're Christian, and you believe that there is a shared, family between
Values, yeah.
I don't think so.
That's what I can see. There are shared values between Muslim, Christian, and those people can live together next to each other, most closer. Otherwise, they can respect each other, and we have a law. There should be a law in a country to protect all the nations. There is a swimming pool next in my borough where I go. There is a men's section. The Jewish come, the extreme ones, they don't want to mix with a woman. The Muslim as well, they don't want to mix with a woman. Both of them, with all their beard, with all their hair, they swim in the men's section. I swim with them. A Christian, a Muslim with big beard, and the Jewish, which is this Ashkenazi Jewish, we swim together in one swimming pool in Haringey. Look how we live in peacefully, because this country, there is a rule of law.
It's not a Muslim country, that's why.
So if we continue our rule of law, everybody can live peacefully how we live in London, but not in Gaza, where where people are being exterminated, being killed. No, we are not going to live that way.
Wait, so
we want a British way of life.
Exactly, that's the point.
You
You understand that you're agreeing with me that something that isn't a Muslim-led system, which is, Britain, it comes from a Christian constitution and derives from more of a secular path, is better because it allows for this high degree of multiculturalism and integration if we bring in good quality migrants and ideas. The point being is that if Islam is in the minority, I think it's fine. If it's in the majority and it's allowed to kind of push its sectarian, strong views that I believe come backwardsly from 7th century Arabia, that is when I begin to see the problems.
No, the Muslims, they are not living in 7th century Arabia mentality, as we
Yes, they
Christians
are.
as well. As we Christians as well.
There was an imam who tried to marry a 3-year-old.
In this country, we used to hang people in this place.
You understand there was an
because of
imam a
their
few
faith.
years ago.
We used to have-
There was a BBC report that found that an imam was trying to marry off a 3-year-old.
Forget the BBC. That's all political.
No, it was recorded. An imam tried to
don't trust that one,
facilitate.
no. Not
What do you
not
trust?
Medias. We have another.
What do you trust? A video of a recording
One is
of an
the
underground
BBC,
investigation that found that an imam was
Look,
trying to marry off a
how we live
3-year-old.
in Haringey, you are not accepting that one. You try to push the Muslims away. You try to make them
Islam, not
minority.
Muslims.
not okay. If you come of Islam, Islam is not one face. There are different interpretations. Many
I'm
Muslim
taking
countries,
more
they
of the
live different ways.
mainline Sunni understanding of the order of things. I mean, if you want to go into like the complexities of theology or Sharia, that's fine, but there are minor differences to a more broader problem.
As I said, there is no one Christianity, even in Christians.
But there's
we have
some key
Christians
ideas
who are
spread.
extreme, who kill people, and there are some Islamic groups.
Yeah, but where do their
extreme.
ideas of extermination
So we
come
have
from
to try to
biblically?
stop anybody who try to hurt another one with just for his face or for anything. We stop this one.
Wait, so
Any terrorist
where
act,
does the
we have to
understanding of
stop terrorist
extermination
act.
come from the Christian worldview? The religious
Christian
front,
worldview,
yeah.
we had, the
Where does
Christianity-
extermination come from?
from the Christian worldview there are.
Yeah, so
The interpretation
I'll give
is about
no, it's
interpretation.
not, because if you look at the New Testament, it's very much yes, come with the sword, but mostly to do with love and accepting Christ, which dramatically changed the dynamics of the interpretation of the Old Testament. However, let's look at a common phrase. Do you know what khayba yah khayba means? I'm pronouncing that wrong, my apologies, but it's talking about the Battle of Khaybar, where Muhammad butchered a bunch of Jews, and you still see Muslims in this day, especially in Gaza, chanting that favorite train that talks about happening again, Khaybar, the Battle of Khaybar. So you can take the very plain reading of the New Testament and find nothing wrong with it. You can take the plain reading of the biography and hadiths of Muhammad, and what you find is a very violent, warmongering man who, I believe, within his entire, their so-called ministry, instituted about 83 wars. And I think that if you give the plain reading of that, even if you try to argue it's some sort of offensive defense, is incredibly despicable. Muhammad is a warmongering, caravan thieving, sex pest who, if he was living in the UK at the moment, would probably have been arrested with several life sentences, or have been deported to Arabia by now, like he did in Mecca to Medina. And I think that if you take the very much authentic 7th century interpretation of Islam, what you find is a very backwards, very reactionary way of living within that time, and it's not a timeless religion given to us by God. I don't see how a Christian, and there's been notorious books on Islamic persecution by Christians, can argue that Islam, this idea, not the people Muslims, because they've come here, their ideas of what Islam is become distorted. If you look at Muslims now, most of them are drinking, most of them are having sex outside of marriage, which although isn't the best thing for them, it does mean that their religion is slowly kind of weighing off on them. I'm talking about the ideas of Islam. I don't think it's compatible with the West at all.
You mentioned Muhammad.
Yes.
I can see he's a very great leader.
You think Muhammad's a good leader?
More than 1 billion
Okay.
people win their hearts. They following him. He didn't force the billion people who are now, because Muhammad passed 100 years ago, but still people.
Why
love
did he
him,
how did he
believe
die?
in him. They follow his.
How did
his
Muhammad die?
footsteps. That's what I can see. How
did Muhammad die?
1 billion people follow Islam. That means Muhammad was a great leader. That's
How
my
did Muhammad
point of
die?
view. I don't know.
How did Muhammad die?
There are different accounts of how he died. So
Well, there's two mainline ones. Either Aisha poisoned him, or he was poisoned by a woman who had her entire family butchered by a massacre from the Jewish people by Muhammad. So not a really good leader, considering firstly he takes the food of a woman that he's just butchered his entire family of. And secondly, if you look at, interestingly, what is said, he says that the poison takes effect 2 years after it is given. He says, I feel like my aorta has been cut. Now, there's a verse within the Quran that speaks about if Muhammad were to ever lie about the revelation that he is given, his aorta should be cut by Allah. So you can either take free interpretation. Either he lied to Allah, either he was poisoned. There's some Shia interpretations or hadiths that narrate that Aisha was the one that killed him. Or it was a woman that he killed his entire family of, and he was so thick, he decided to take the food that was offered to him, even though he butchered their entire village. Now, I'm not the smartest guy, and I'm hardly a tacticianer, but if that was me, I would have not taken that food.
yeah, because your enemy, if somebody don't like you, he always have to speak about you. He bring false account saying you died.
This is from like the
This happens
Sunnah.
to all the leaders. So if I call a Muslim, then he will tell me that way.
So a Christian that believes Muhammad's a great man, even though he denied the deity and sonship of Christ. Do you understand that? In 1 John, I think it's 5, it talks about if you deny the sonship of Christ, right? You understand Muhammad denied this, right? He said, how can Allah have a son? And that if Allah had a son, I'd be the first to worship. So he denied the deity and sonship of Christ. And you're still saying Muhammad's a good leader?
A good leader doesn't mean, I don't mean like, I'm a Christian.
Is he a moral leader?
I'm a Christian.
Is he a moral leader?
I'm Christian. I believe in the Trinity. I believe in Jesus, God, all these things. But when he tell me just who is Muhammad, when I see, I can see 1 billion people following him.
Yeah,
They live by
ignorantly.
his values.
Ignorantly.
And most of them, they are very peaceful. They are very lovely. They are very advanced, developed professors, doctors. They follow Muhammad. They are Muslim now.
Yeah, ignorantly.
So I have to respect them and respect him. So respect for Islam, respect for Muhammad, respect for Jesus, and for Moses as well. But if there are individual extremism who do terrorism, we have to stop them.
Well, who are they following still?
In this country, we have
but
many issues to deal with. Let us deal with our issues. There are unemployment.
Can I ask you a question just
There are a
quickly?
lot of things we have to sort out. We have to sort out.
Can I ask
Not
a question
one
first?
Point for just
So-
people because of their faith.
A good question would be this, right?
Yes.
So you argue that Muhammad's a good leader because billions of people follow him, and that these are billions of decent people. Now, could we flip this on its side and say, well, millions of terrorists follow Muhammad, therefore Muhammad is a terrorist?
If there was a terrorist, yes. If
Okay.
million bad people
What is
follow
the
you,
biggest ideology behind terrorism in the world, internationally?
ignorance?
Like
Terrorism
Islam.
is ignorance.
It's Islam.
But terrorism can
Boko
come from
Haram,
different-
Hamas, ISIS, Al-Shabaab, like all of these
Tell me a
organizations.
lot of the Jewish terrorism who are around as well. Tell me the names.
I don't know any Jewish
There are
terrorist
a lot.
organization
There
whatsoever.
are.
Can can you name
Even
it?
Christian terrorists.
Name me a Jewish terrorist
There are
organization.
definitely from
Name
every
me.
faith,
Give me a
there are
name.
bad
Give me a
people
name of
and
a
there are
Christian
good
and Jewish terrorist organization.
They did.
Give me a name.
So we have the mayor of London, a Muslim guy. He's a very good guy, and he
Or the guy who denied that there were grooming gangs. Then there an exclusive report found there was over 6,000
and
of
we have a
them
lot of mayors in England who serve this country,
who covered up grooming
and
gangs.
they are living here. So I think this is not good for England or for Britain. British a big empire. In this empire, there are a lot of neutralized Muslim, Christian, Hindu, anything. So Muslim Britain, because of this, is a multicultural country. So we have to respect this multiculturalism and work on it to make people to live in harmony.
Did you know Sadiq Khan denied to Susan Hall that grooming gangs exist, even though they found out to be later thousands of them?
Not each individual case about Sadiq Khan that I would know, but
This is a very famous one. He was asked in City Hall, do there exist any grooming gangs like that of Rotherham, which of course are gangs which groom people towards sex, which is considered a form of rape because they have not consented at that age. He said, what do you mean by that? In a suggestion that she was making a racist trope about the ethnicity of these grooming gangs in Rotherham as being predominantly Pakistani or Islamic, as most people would say. He denied that they existed. He's just defunded the Royal Parks police station, which was used at Speaker's Corner to protect people here from any dangerous harm, especially considering there's a lot of fights here. And he's overseeing the slow decline of the quality of life here in London. I don't think he's a good leader. Outside of what he believes, even so, look, you know, it's the only time he ever turned on these comment section on these TikTok was for Pride, and all of the Muslims were slamming him for celebrating sodomy. So within the Islamic community, because he's the only viable option, they'll support him, but secretly they all hate him. In terms of covering up the grooming gangs, he institutionalized a cover-up within London of the biggest form of sexual exploitation of young people, the most vulnerable within society. Then, even further that, he's trying to argue that diversity is some sort of strength. Even at best, if we weren't seeing these problems here in the UK, diversity is just a trope, an attribute. It's nothing especially good. There's nothing different between the country coincidentally being a 99.9% white population to a 80% white population and 20% brown population. It doesn't really matter. And that's very much looking London at a racial lens. And he labels figures such as Tommy Robinson as far right. He paints this narrative that the next generation of Nazis are walking down, and that is why you're seeing rhetoric of whenever there's a right-leaning march as of being the next Battle of Cable Street, and this is why you see such a violent response by the left. Sadiq Khan is a good demonstration of why integration and Islam is not compatible with the West. It either has to lie and infiltrate itself into places of power in order to institute its extremely stupid policies which drastically decrease the quality of life, or it completely flops due to a lack of organization if you look at the Your Party.
Sadiq Khan, as a Muslim, he cannot lead London in a Muslim way, because this community is a multicultural community. So he have to respect the multiculturality of London and allow all what is going on in London, whether it's Pride, whether it is Hanukkah, whether it is Jewish celebration. He have to allow it, because these people, they live here, they have their rights. So that's how it is. So
Well, that's-
if a Muslim man
that's my point.
hates
He has
Sadiq
to lie
Khan
to
for
himself.
this, then it is his problem. It's not Sadiq Khan's problem.
It is.
If
But-
it-
because there's a
and
difference
another thing, let
between
me
not
tell
having
you,
to
is
speak out against it.
The Epstein guy, is he Muslim? Epstein.
Epstein.
Was he? What race was he?
Oh no, but I
me
imagine
what
I
religion
imagine
he is.
one of the biggest clients of Epstein would have been
Who is
Muhammad.
Epstein? What is religion?
Pardon?
Where is he
He
from?
doesn't profess a
What race
religion. He doesn't profess a religion. Besides
Is
from
he a Hebrew? Is he a Christian? Epstein? Where is this?
Epstein was not of any religious affiliations. However, I would tell you this for free.
Tell me where he's from.
If we could take any
When we talk about Epstein,
one
we call
second.
only his name.
One second.
But when we take the grooming
You can't
gangs
even pronounce
in
it.
Sheffield on
Yeah,
Britain,
I
then it
condemn
is not a
Epstein.
problem.
I think it's great that
No,
we
there
revoked
there
King
child
Prince
grooming, there are
Andrew's
child
titles.
exploitation from all phases, whether it's Muslim or Christian or Jewish, everywhere is there. Is it good thing? It's wrong. We have to prosecute them. So
I condemn
that's what I'm
Epstein.
trying to say.
But I think if we could take any historical figure and guess whether if Epstein was alive, he would be on his client list. The first one would be Muhammad, because he
That's what they
because he
assume.
got God. He
but
got
what
God
we hear
to
is Trump was his
engage.
first-
One second.
his first
He got
client,
God
that's what we know,
to
what
make
we
sure
hear.
that he could have more marriages than any Muslim man would be able to have. Then had the mean age of these marriages under the age of consent here in the UK. That is more despicable than Epstein, because he is trying to vouch that God given him this. At least Epstein tried to commit suicide. Right? He knew what he did was wrong, and when he got caught out for it, he tried to end his life. Muhammad, he was a warmonger. He wanted to spread his ideas of pedophilia, this fictitious religion that distorts other people's religion and suppress it onto other people. So there's a big difference.
What's wrong with marriage? If people agree, if
What,
people-
children?
4 women, 5 women, 6 women, like here in the West. how
Does the
many
Bible
girlfriends
teach you
are
that?
allowed?
Does
In
the
this
Bible
country,
teach you
look,
that?
In this country,
Does the Bible teach you
a
that?
person-
Does the Bible teach you that?
We are not talking about it. We're talking about.
No, what
Quran.
you're asking
The
me,
Quran
what is
teaches that.
wrong with marrying more
The
than one
Quran teaches
person?
that.
Yeah, 4.
His
Muhammad had
value-
12.
Yes. Then why not? It's good for him.
Why? Why did
I
he
wish
have
he had
12
20.
and Muslims are only
If
allowed
they was
4?
willing, if they was happy to do it, then that's it. They are following
They
their
weren't.
faith.
In fact,
Then-
Muhammad had to give a pledge to Aisha that he wouldn't sleep with any of his other wives in Quran chapter 66. Because he was being lustful and wanted to sleep and mount other women. And he kept his obligation even though Allah said he couldn't, he didn't have to. Which
if
is
Allah
considered...
said that one, you don't have to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to keep your obligation
why
to
you
your
keep
wife
that
to have
faith?
sex with other people.
If you believe in certain values in this, then you have to do them. If you are a Muslim, you
What
live the
mount
Muslim
other
way.
women?
If you are Christian, you live the Christian
What
way.
mount other women?
Sorry?
Mount other women, have sex with other women. You think that's good?
If people they like it, I don't mind. Women they won't have sex
So
with women.
you're, as a Christian, you're fine with
me?
polygamy, yeah?
No, when I'm Christian, I just tell them Jesus was among all these bad people. He tried to make them better. So I don't hate them, but I tell them.
I don't hate
try
them,
to
but I
tell
hate the
them,
ideas
so-
they're
so-
trying to push, and I think they'll
But if
condemn
they
them to
choose
hell.
it, I don't mind. If they choose to live like that,
Because it's a false
I don't
union.
mind.
It's a false union
But
of other
if you
people,
ask
and
if they
polygamy
want
isn't
advice
actually.
from me,
Yep.
If they want advice from me, I will tell them, look, that's not natural. A woman to woman is not
So
natural.
why are you saying
Man
that
to
this
man
is a good leader
something
then?
Natural. That's what according to my belief. I will tell them according to my belief, this is not natural. So, in a nice way, I respect them and try to lead them to the.
Do you respect what they're doing?
I respect them.
No.
as
Do you,
human
do you respect what they are doing?
beings. Yes, I respect. What
So
they are
you
doing.
respect
I don't-
polygamy?
Yes.
So you think polygamy is okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you understand that?
According to their faith, if they
No,
are
no.
accepting-
Listen.
Okay.
Stop being so archimenical and weak-minded. You have
Yes.
to. You have to, as a Christian, call out and condemn bad behavior,
Yeah.
which includes behavior which is considered sinful. which includes polygamy, because there is one union between Christ and the church, between a husband and wife. You become a bride to one another. As Christ is a bride to his kingdom, his church, you have to be to your husband and your wife. A polygamous marriage is bastardizing the holy sacrament of marriage. The fact that you're saying, I am okay with this, demonstrates that you're not strongly in your faith.
Christianity didn't take us to dictate our beliefs to others, never.
No, but at least call them out on it.
Tell us to live a way for ourselves, but any others who live different way, we respect them, we love them.
Well, Christianity teaches that you should call out and condemn bad behavior.
Them to our life if they want.
Do you know Christianity calls out us to call out bad behavior, not to force other people in the way of limiting their will. However, letting it be known, obviously what you're doing is wrong. And of course, if they've committed a serious crime that goes against someone else in a wrong way.
It's not universally wrong, but I tell them
for polygamy, to marry more than one partner is not universally wrong, whatever I mean that wrong.
In Judaism, it was allowed in the Moses' time. They marry one.
But we are not Muslims or Jews, my friend.
They do it again, yeah.
We are not Muslims or Jews. We are Christians. We are the fulfillment of the old covenant into the new. We are the mystical body of Christ.
We have let
Christ literally had his entire... listen, I think we're going to end on this because we're just going to end up... Okay. So I'll end up on this final statement, just being about... Christ was flipping tables and calling out the hypocrisy of the purity laws of the Old Testament, essentially arguing that if you focus so much into the small purity aspects of the law, what then happens is that you're missing the big parts of the law, which is compassion, empathy, kindness. So Christ was being a revolutionary in calling out bad behavior within the temple. So why can't we do the same with Islam? I think that the Pharisees' version of Judaism is a warning and typology of Islam.
Christ was an exorcist man. Most of his time, he don't blame the people who are doing bad, but he tried to remove the evil spirits within them and make them good people. He was a very peaceful man. He was a loving man. We have to love it. To love everybody, to welcome everybody into our houses, into our communities. But now what the question is saying that Islam is not compatible with the West is very wrong. There is nothing West now. With social media, the world is a village. And with airplanes, people wake up in London, then they have breakfast in Dubai, and they have dinner in India.
I don't.
So we have one village. We have to respect the village. We have to respect human beings.
When did I ever go to Dubai?
In harmony. If you have other issues in Britain,
it's actually people on the edge of the road that
sort
do
it
that.
out. But it's not, Islam is not a problem at all. And there are billion good Muslims in the world, but there could be 5, 4, 3 bad Muslims who call themselves Muslims. And then if they are criminals, we just have to prosecute these bad people. But we love Muslim people. We love Christian and Jewish people. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, my friend.
Don't go yet, don't go yet.
Oh yeah, you got to take the mic, don't you? I'm eating a brownie. Leave me alone.
No, think professional. So for those of you who are watching, all I can say is thank you very much. And Carlos. So if anyone wants to find you on social media, where do you have social media that people can find out more about you?
Yes, I have Twitter on my name, Yika'alo Gebrselassie. I have YouTube, I have Facebook, but I don't monetize my YouTube. Mostly on TikTok I go live. So in my name, Yika'alo Gebrselassie.
Have you enjoyed being part of the first live debate down here, Change My Mind, live and direct on Tommy Robinson's YouTube channel and also on his Twitter? So you are the first. Have you enjoyed it?
Yes, it's a very lovely session. I love to be here. I love to debate with all British people, Tommy Robinson and Young Bob or anybody. We try to convince, we have to change the community's mind of thinking. We like a better Britain and a better world for us and for the next generation. So I enjoyed it and I like what you do, Mr. Speaker's Corner live. You do always live, and I always like to come here. I like your interrogation, your questions as well. So I love everything. I enjoy everything, and Young Bob as well.